to show you that information. All right, so now let's go into the medications. All right, so for medications, first thing you want to do is actually add the medication in the system, and then we want to go through the day-to-day process of doing the medication log. All right, so first off is we want to add. So we click the plus button, we choose the resident, and in this case, I'll just show you if there was a facility, let's say in the north side facility, and I chose that, you can see, oh, okay, only John is in that facility, but it's John's who we want anyway. So again, you'll see the summary information at the top, and let's go down into some of the details. The date of the start of this medication, the date to stop, obviously it become discontinued after that stop date, whether it's not, some sort of classification prescribed over the counter, you can customize that. And if it's a controlled substance, you want to check that because then it will show up on that controlled substance report. We use an international database of medications. So if I just start typing, matter of fact, I'll escape out of this before I do this because I want to show you. If you choose this auto-populate option, what will happen is that it will automatically populate and see, because I did select one, it automatically populated the information for that medication here. So let's actually just put in a different one, Advil, and let's say it's just Advil, right? You can see here that information automatically populates. So you get the side effects, the purpose, the directions, warnings, and you can edit this information if you want. All right. Then you'd want to enter the dosage and the total pills. We do strongly recommend, it's not required to enter the total pills, but in order for us to decrement or just to, every time someone takes a pill, we say, okay, you have one less pill. You started off with 30, now you have 29. We don't know what that information is unless you enter the total pills. You also choose the days of the week. Most often we recommend you choose all the days. If you say, okay, the medication is only done on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but let's say, for instance, Monday you didn't take it, and then Tuesday, because you've unchecked it, say they don't take the med that day, it'll say, hey, this is for Tuesday. You can't do it because the client's not supposed to do that on Tuesday. So just be mindful of that. Then you would choose the interval for that medication. Refills. This is an important section as well. If you know the refills, please go ahead and enter them up front because our system is smart enough to know that, okay, this date has kicked in and this refill is now, we need to switch to that refill. Let's say, for instance, this medication was started in September, or maybe it started in August, and our first refill is in September, all right? So, and let's say we have 30 pills there, and that's refill number 1, right? And then we have another one in October, right? So we'll say October 1st was the second refill. And again, let's just say 30. And we know that's refill number 2. And of course, you can put notes on these refills as well. And then let's go ahead and let's say the third and final refill is November 1st, right? And then we put the 30 pills there as well as refill number 3. Now, of course, because this is the current month, we'd want to check that as the current refill. And the way that works is that when you're doing your pill count report, it'll say, okay, John has taken 4 pills of refill number 2. And that just so you can always see clearly what refill is being used. Now, let's say, for instance, November 1st shows up, right? It's November 1st now. It will automatically switch to this refill number 3 as the current refill. So it will automatically switch to that one. So that's important. If you have them, go ahead and add them in. And that way your pill count report will always reflect information properly. Of course, you have all these optional fields that you can enter. And then when you're done, you simply click add. And you'll see the same options here as well. What would you like to do next? Add another medication, progress note, etc. You just click add. I'm not going to add this medication, so I'll move away from this. Now, because I've entered a bunch of information here on this page, it's saying, hey, changes you've made have not been, may not be saved, but in this example, it's okay because I do want to leave the page. And I'm just pointing that out because the system will help you to make sure that you're actually doing the work and you're saving the information properly. Okay, now you have all the medications in the system. Now let's do the day-to-day tracking of that. So if I click on the add button here, choose the resident, I'll just choose John Doe. We have John's medications already in the system. Let's choose the interval. So it'll just pull from the intervals that John has. So if John had a 6 o'clock medication, it would show here as well. But it only shows based on the intervals that we have. Let's go ahead and do John's morning, 8 a.m. Now, when I select that, all the medications that are supposed to be administered in morning 8 a.m., they now show up. I can simply just say select all. But if you've entered the pills taken, it's going to require you to enter that information. If you haven't, it will still have that option, but it's not required. But I'm just going to go ahead and put 1 for all of these. Just, and then obviously we'll also automatically put in the time taken. And let's say we go ahead and add this, and then it's requiring a signature for the staff. It's requiring a signature from the resident as well. And I will go ahead and say, what do I want to do next? Let's go ahead and add another medication log. Let's say, for instance, we've done his morning 8 a.m. and we also want to do his maybe noon medication. So let's go ahead and choose now noon. And now if I select all, you can see here, only the medications to be administered at noon show up. So now you only have 2. And let's say, for instance, there's some sort of change or irregularity with the medication, the noon medication. Let's say the medication was refused and maybe it was administered by someone else. Let's say it was not this person, maybe someone just say, I was out, but I know that, let's say staff, I don't know, let's say the staff's name is Brian Smith, entered it, right? And we can sign it as well, and resident signature. All right. And in this case, I don't want to add another medication. I will click on go to the home page. So now I've added John's morning as well as noon medication. Let's quickly flip over to the MAR report. And again, the MAR is one of the 3 reports that here are stand at the top. Let's click on the MAR. Let's create a report, and let's choose John. And close as you can see, you do multiple at the same time. We'll just do John in this case. And we want to just do John's October MAR. Right? You can see there are other options here if you want to display the time taken, resident signature, initials, display, the directions, purpose, any kind of, if you only want to pick certain things, you can choose. But we're just going to go ahead and create this report. All right, with the defaults. Let's make this a little bit bigger. As you can see here, we are on the 18th. You can see this was the noon medication. We said Brian Smith entered it, and you can see, well, it attempted to, and it says it refused. So you can see there's a label, and then you can see all of the morning meds were entered. And I'm logged in as manager demo. My initials are MCD, so you can see my initials next to all of those medications. You can see here this other noon medication also has that that red, which means that it was refused. Okay, and you can just see some summary information about the resident at the end of the MAR. All right, so now that we have the MAR, we do have another one sheet called the MAR worksheet, which allows you to kind of make bulk modifications, enter the MAR by, for instance, you can enter the entire day at a time. This is used when you need to make corrections. I won't spend a lot of time on that. We're almost out of, I want to continue moving on here. There are a number of other forms that you can go through. They're all pretty self-explanatory. I'll just point out a couple here that